Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. We're here to do the episode of this week, a show that we do every Sunday. Try to get it out by noon. Probably should get there today or pretty close to it. And so what we do on this channel is I tell you about the contents of the shows for the week that we're in currently, which is August the 10th through to the 16th. This is week episode number 156. We have 10 shows on the regular channel docket, plus the 7 series episode, one of which came out this morning. So if you want to see that, you can go back and watch that. And then we have a new mini series that will start Monday. And then, of course, I also am going to talk about stuff that may need some correction from the past. So the only thing that comes to mind about the correction is that the mini-series that we're starting was originally supposed to start on Saturday, and I decided it didn't make any sense to do it Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So what I'm going to do is I'll start it Monday. It'll go at 6 p.m. Monday to Friday for 5 episodes. And so that's going to be the one correction that I'm going to make for the week so far. And I can't think of anything else. Maybe there's a few episodes that might come out a little bit late. And so now we're going to go back to a kind of a full roster thing, even after 2 weeks of kind of semi stuff going on as I was taking a trip out of town and stuff. So today we'll begin that. So I'm going to put my glasses on here so I can get to it. So we'll do the regular episodes first. So the first episode, of course, is this one, even though technically we did have one this morning for the series. But as you all know, that's just a continuous thing. So this is actually the first episode of the week. Episode number 156 already. So that's over 3 years of episodes. And even had a little bit of a stop there once a couple years ago as well. So anyways, this will come out at 12 noon, which will house everything that I'm about to talk to you about. Next up is Next up is tonight's live stream into the Progverse, coming out at 8 o'clock tonight. And we're going to be talking about medieval or classical type albums with a lot of that on it. Are they really prog? Are they not prog? Are they semi-prog? We'll talk about that. Just get kind of a consensus of how people might feel about them. I sometimes feel like they're very proggy, and other times I feel like there's no rock music involved at all. So we will talk about that tonight on the live stream into the Progverse. I hope to see you for that, coming on Sunday at 8 o'clock. Next up is Look Back at a Classic Rock Album. This is a show that I do every Monday night in which I take a classic rock album, for me that's anything older than 15 years, and kind of talk about the album. I guess it's kind of a review, and we've been doing that now for 4 years. And we're going to do a redo this week. I said I would do a few redos. I think I've got 4 or 5 in mind total. And this is Who Are You by The Who. When I first did it, I was still fairly new into doing this. Really wasn't quite sure how to review it, and I don't think it went over that well. And so now I think it's time to redo it. So we'll be doing that for a look back at a classic rock album this week, and that will come out Monday at 8 o'clock. Next up is a new mini-series from Ben. So we finished the most recent one, which was One Question, a couple weeks ago now. And I thought it was a perfect time because it was the last episode went a week before I was going away. It worked out fine. So the new mini-series will be called The Catalyst for This Genre, or For the Genre if you prefer. So I've picked out, or he has actually picked out the 6 genres, and I will tell you which band kind of motivated me into that realm. And I'm just looking to see if I have the 2. I do. So we are going to show those. So this episode will be rock and roll. And these were kind of the 2 artists that kind of got me into that 1950-ish or rock and roll era type of music sound. You could call it 50-ish, you could call it just rock and roll, whatever you want to call it. that was the kind of the one that started it. Those were the kind of guys that started for me. So we'll be talking about that on the catalyst for this week's genre, episode 1, and that will come out Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Then we go on to Wednesday, favorites. So favorites this week, I'm going to do an episode called 5 Bands That Were Compared to Led Zeppelin. So they may not even actually have sounded much like Led Zeppelin, but for some reason people like to put them in that Led Zeppelin sounding or Led Zeppelin comparison mode. So I have 5 bands picked out for that. We will do that this week, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Next up is the live stream, which comes on Thursday, another live stream. This one is Hard Rock Rankers or Hard Rock Rankings. This will feature this band, BTO, all of their discs that came out in the 1970s. I think there's 8 in total. I ordered the 4 that I didn't have. I don't normally order stuff, but I got a pretty good deal on 2 furs. So there's 2 albums on each of the cassettes. The first cassette one with the 2 Head On and Freeways, I've listened to both of these albums a fair bit of amount of times over the course of my life. I've just never owned them in CDs, so they're both coming. And then the other 2, Street Action, and I think the one Something Nights, can't remember the exact name, not as familiar with them. I think I've heard Street Action once, so we'll be doing a ranking on those 8 albums for BTO for 1970s hard rock album rankings. So next up is, and that will come out Thursday at 8, of course. Friday, we have Who Did It Better. This is another show that Ben initiated, and we talked about. So what he does is he picks a song that's done or covered by 2 artists, and then I kind of give my opinion as to who do I think is better. And the song he's chosen for this week is Opium Trail, done by Thin Lizzy and then by John Norum. Next up is Friday at 8. Next up, the playlist, which I do once a month, middle of the month, kind of offsets new albums purchased, although I've been thinking about doing a double set of new albums purchased, doing one mid-month, one end of month, which might eliminate this show, I'm not sure. So that's playlist. That will come out Saturday at 12. Next up is the weekly album watch, which is a news series that I'll be starting this week. It's going to come Saturday at 6 p.m. Basically what I'm going to do is throughout the week I'm going to pick 5 albums that are of interest to me. I may not necessarily have them, or maybe I will get them. I might do an episode of what's new with one of them, I'm not sure. But I'm going to pick out the 5 albums that I think are most interesting to me that came out in the week of. So the week of this week would be August the 10th through 16th. And so it's going to come at the end of the week. I'll pick 5 albums, and I'll just kind of give a little kind of a talk about them and why they're of interest to me, and maybe they'll be of interest to you as well. And that will be Saturday at 6 p.m. for a weekly album watch. The last show of the week is What's New, and I've been looking forward to this. I was going to actually do this one last week, but I've been listening to the other album I did, the Pentagram album, which I did last Saturday night for a while, and I thought it was time I should put it in there. So this week we're going to do this album. Yep, The Revenge of Alice Cooper. The band is back. I never actually thought this would ever happen. These are the original members of Alice Cooper rejoining to put this album back to put this out, Revenge of Alice Cooper. So I'm looking forward to doing this album for my What's New this week, which will come out Saturday at 8. So that's it for the regular shows for the week. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the series, which the monthly series for the month of August, which is my 31 favorite rock bands. We're moving right along here, past the halfway point now. We will be down at the halfway point almost at the end of the week, and I've picked out the 7 bands that we'll be using for that. So I hope people are enjoying it, the ones who are following it. We've got some interesting bands this week, and we're getting closer. As we get closer to the top, the bands will be more and more familiar with me. So anyways, that's a series we're running for the month of August, 31 favorite hard rock bands. Then now, and I'll talk a little bit about the mini-series. So we'll be doing a mini-series. I've actually been preparing this one for a very long time, working on what I want to do. And then I came up with an idea of how I should proceed. I'm going to proceed in somewhat the same fashion I have with some of the other ones I've done like this. The Genesis Yes one. I think we did Pink Floyd and Jethro Tull, or maybe that was a suggestion. It might have been a suggestion. But anyways, the mini-series we're going to do this week is Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. These are two bands that are often synonymous with each other. Many people listen to them. Who listen to one will listen to the other. They don't really quite sound very much alike at all, but for some reason they're always lumped together, probably because they were among the first commercially successful metal bands from the late 70s and early 80s. Probably mostly they were also among the first metal bands of that time period. So, and they've always kind of been lumped together, and so we're going to do a 5 episode mini series in which I will pick I'll do an episode on their debut albums, one on the biggest albums by sales, one on the last albums or most recent albums, and one on their worst albums, and then one on my favorite albums by the two bands. And we'll just talk. There's a bunch of criteria I've got setting up, and I'll be doing that with each episode. Hopefully the episodes can go between 7 and 10 minutes. That's my goal. Although the first one probably will be a little bit longer because it's an introduction episode. So hopefully this will be of some interest and some enjoyment to those people who like both of these bands, and I'm definitely one of them. So that's it for what's new for this week, for the episode of this week. I hope to see you all throughout the week. There's going to be quite a bit of stuff going on here. It looks like we've got somewhere around 22 episodes, which is probably much more than I normally do. That's mostly because of this mini-series. But I've been wanting to put this out. And then I'm going to do, the other thing is I have, I think it's six other mini-series. I'm going to do one for each decade. And as it goes along, you'll see where I'm getting at with it. So hopefully we will see you throughout the week. So take care and have yourself a good one. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you got any comments about anything I've said or any of the episodes or any suggestions or anything else that you'd like to see, you can put that in the comment section below. I'll try to consider it and put it into wherever I can fit it at times I can. And we will see you throughout the week. So take care from Prog Monster. Have a good day and goodbye.